Hey, what's up everybody? It's Stacy Storino. Welcome back to my channel, the #1 place for entrepreneurs who want their content marketing to convert content consumers into paying customers. Now, if you're like, Stacy, is there something you can tell me to do that'll give me a cheat code to outclass my similarly situated competitors and also have a big impact on my professional coaching career? Well, wish granted. That's why I created this video about how to upgrade your professional coaching brand. But wait, before we go any further, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get the help that entrepreneurs like you need to succeed with content marketing that drives traffic to your business so that you can do more business. Now, recently I did a video, it's entitled Professional Coaching Branding Tips. And in it, I discussed advice I'd give you about a few elements of branding that seem so deceptively simple. Yet, if you mess any of these items up, you could be repelling people or turning them off instead of compelling them to check out more of both your free and paid offerings, which of course can mess up your business. So if you haven't watched that video yet, be sure to check it out. That said, let's get into how to upgrade your professional coaching brand. KLT is VIP. If you have a brand for any business, really, we're talking about a coaching business here, you have to use your business's branding as one of many positioning tools to help you stand out against the crowd, to rise up from the sea of sameness that you could otherwise drown in if you're otherwise like the millionth weight loss coach. Tonita Robbins instead of Tony Robbins, or the next Oprah, or what have you. If you don't distinguish yourself from your similarly situated competitors, you're done. And if you don't have a true brand, but just a logo attached to sales pages, having to do with selling services that you provide, like coaching one-on-one or one-on-group, or you're selling a course, or both. Well, you're not using branding as a positioning statement then, are you? It's just some graphic design you've given too little thought to, probably, and you're done. Branding is an experience that you're serving up to your ideal customer or niche. So there are several elements of maintaining a true brand. And the element we're discussing today involves you creating and implementing what's known as the branding ritual, which gives your ideal customer or your niche the opportunity to enjoy loving your coaching brand and the content you create in a particular and unique way that's deeply ingrained in them. And that enjoyment and loving feeling will, over time, become increasingly habitual to them, which then creates an upward spiral of success for you that's hard to break as long as you can keep the branded ritual-based magic going. If your target audience doesn't get to know, like, and trust you, you're done. So this factor, what I refer to as the KLT factor, or the know, like, and trust factor, is super important. And like I just indicated in the last video on my YouTube channel, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. But after that first impression is established, how do you get your ideal customer to keep coming back to you, your content, your lives and their replays, like on YouTube and or Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and more, and keep coming back to your website, your sales pages or sales funnels, your Facebook group, maybe one for prospective students and another for paid students only? I mean, how do you get your ideal customer to keep coming back to your business and its corresponding brand and unique X Factor type branded experience over and over again, both for the free stuff and the paid stuff you offer? Because the more your ideal fan comes back to what I often refer to as your digital ecosystem that you create, the more that KLT factor goes up. Depending upon what your ideal customer is into, that might involve a weekly YouTube video, a weekly Facebook Live, a weekly blog post, or a weekly podcast. Do you have to do them all? No. But if you understand your ideal customer demographics and psychographics well enough, you'll know where you need to be in order to create the overall digital ecosystem that once they enter, they'll keep coming back to consume your free offerings And as the KLT factor increases, the more likely it'll be that they'll purchase your paid offerings too. The more your brand rituals, which we'll get into in a minute, occur, the more they feel part of a community and your tribe. And the more likely it is that they'll keep buying everything or almost everything you offer to them. It's true. I've been doing this stuff for 8 years and coaching other people to create products and or services-based businesses. And it's worked for really all of us. It can work for you too. Honestly, once you get the whole system down, as the KLT factor continues to increase like clockwork, you could have content consumers going from ideal customers to paying customers and then ultimately zealous brand advocates, bringing you more paying customers, whether those zealous brand advocates are affiliates of your paid offerings or not. But I know what you're asking. Where specifically does this ritual branding element factor into all of that? Well, to enhance that KLT factor with your ideal customer, you want to do anything you can to make your target audience feel like they would be part of a big happy community whenever they come across your brand. But not just any community. No, I mean a community that stands for everything that each ideal customer of yours stands for too. If you understand your niche or your ideal fans, then you'll know what kind of a community they would be happy to be a part of. They have an intersecting interest, from weight loss to better relationships to mastering a skill to improving a current skill they already have. So people love to meet in a community and talk shop all day long. You need to provide a community with a ritualistic feel and experience to it, and then you can lead them and market to them all day long with impunity. Need an example? Fine, I'll give you one that you might not be expecting, but it makes my point. Rituals are powerful even when they're simple. PewDiePie, when he first really got rolling on YouTube, would greet his audience and thrust out his now famous brofist to the screen. He did it a lot, and his ideal fans got used to seeing it. And then they could either do it back if they chose, or more likely they would not do it, but a good fist bump is still something that people often feel and often do reflexively back to one another, like shaking hands in some cultures, and bowing to one another in other cultures. So it helped to acknowledge his viewers and to connect with them. This branding ritual stuff doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be effective, you see. Know your audience, know how they behave, and create even a simple ritualistic thing that they'll vibe with and repeat to you and others. It shows that you get them and people like them, and your vibe will over time attract your tribe. Communities want commonality. Something as simple as a brofist is often all that it takes to have a ritual that builds the KLT factor. Really, it makes it easy to feel like you, say the content consumer, becomes part of a relationship with the brand leader, the content creator. And in the PewDiePie example, well, you feel like you're in a community with all the other bros that are watching the PewDiePie videos, commenting on them, commenting on his social media posts, and more. What can you do as a coach to become more of a brand leader, encourage a community feel, and community interaction in a way that is both distinctive and yet harkens back to the people, and that intersecting interest that brought them to you and to each other? Fun rituals are powerful when they are directly connected to the brand experience that each audience wants delivered to them. For PewDiePie, his followers want to be his bros and be in on his jokes and his gameplay. They stand for the things that he does. They do the things that he does. And since PewDiePie is a bit of an OG in the gaming space, he can get away with a broader ritual like, that, but it still is very effective. So now it's your turn. How do you create your own coaching brand ritual for your specific niche down audience and what they're into or all about? Ritual building tips. So think about it. Rituals are behaviors that people perform regularly. So the best branding rituals encourage participation and content consumption on a regular basis too. They acknowledge the presence of the ideal customer no matter what, because without them, there's no viewer and no community. Look at what I'm doing at the beginning of pretty much all of my videos. When I acknowledge the type of ideal content consumer and ideal customer that I have, I say, welcome back to my channel, the number one place for entrepreneurs who want their content marketing to convert content consumers into paying customers. My viewer is acknowledged, and I do have a community, and I acknowledge it, and I show my viewers high energy, enthusiastic appreciation for them coming around to consume my content again. Be sure, just like me, and even, God, I can't believe I'm saying this, kind of like PewDiePie, just be sure that you're encouraging your audience to consume your content, but do it in a ritualistic way where you acknowledge your ideal customer base and do what you can through your social media marketing to make that whole ritualistic experience from the build up to the execution and or launch of your live streams and YouTube videos, for example, make it fun. And when I say fun, I mean fun for them, your ideal customer. It's got to be about positive high energy, connectivity, and community. So what kind of specific social-driven experience is your coaching brand providing for your ideal customer to enjoy, both in places like YouTube and content that's hosted on your website and via social media, where you should be found, and continuing your community building efforts too? Remember, you've got to go where the attention is, or you can create a crap ton of content that barely anybody sees, and ain't nobody got time for that. And what should your ideal customer do as part of the ritual so that the experience is fun for them? Because it speaks to what they want and why they want it and how they want it delivered. And everyone's having a good time while it's being delivered too. If you know your ideal customer well enough, from both demographic and psychographic research, you can answer these questions. If you can't, you likely need to do some more market research. But if you did your target market audience research, then you've got this information on lock. You totally can make a ritual that your ideal customer will love. And once that's in place, here come the tips. First, make sure that you're delivering your coaching-based brand experience on a regular basis. If you're not doing this, no one is going to know, like, and trust you for long. You need to be persistent and consistent in terms of your content marketing, backed by your very specific and distinctive brand experience that will lift you out of the sea of sameness you're likely currently drowning in. Second, do whatever you can to encourage your ideal customer to join your community. In fact, use the word community whenever you can. Give them an easy call to action to join the community by subscribing to your YouTube channel, by following you on other social media platforms, and more. Don't sleep on using a Facebook group to send your community to go to between your blogs and or podcasts and or your YouTube videos. Give people somewhere to go, a digital club to hang out in, where they can talk shop about their intersecting interest all day long if they like. And make sure you're in there too as part of the conversation so they know their loyal brand leader, you, cares about them. And any business can benefit from this advice. My 7-figure success customer, even during COVID, 7-figure success customer, Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, as of the recording of this video, has an email list that's well on its way to 10,000 people strong, and their Facebook page has around 11,000 to 12,000 people liking us or following us, and our Facebook group, thousands upon thousands of engaged people. On TikTok, 800,000 fans or followers. If we want to send our content consumers and email VIPs someplace, like a YouTube video, an Instagram live stream, whatever, we just post and boom, they show up. We can send out an email with a coupon and boom, beautiful click-through rates on our links and sales. And look, when you serve up value in every single direction that your ideal customer casts some of their attention span to throughout the day, your community will grow and your rituals will gain power as your community increases in size, no matter what your business is about. Surprise, when people like your coaching brand, your free content, and your paid content at all, they're going to want to become part of your world. Other businesses and influencers have trained them to do it by now on and off social media and YouTube. So tap into that and leverage that trend that increasingly all adults are falling into. Third, make sure you have a strong reason why someone should choose your coaching-based brand over any other competitor. Are you more fun than the others? Do you give more information? Do you provide them with a non-toxic environment to learn and grow in when others maybe don't? What's your X factor that ideal customers like them are happy to support and happy to find others just like them to come hang out with online and talk shop with too? What makes you different and what makes you better? Make sure that the words that you use in your ritualistic experience and in your community building efforts make this clear. Fourth, remember that ritual is all about the people you want to, have engaged in it, and the ritual should be connected to what they know, love, want, and need. So do not always have an accent mark on your coaching brand and nothing but you and or the brand. People always want to know what's in it for me. Come on, you do it yourself. That's why performing ideal customer or niche-based research, market research is so critical before you do anything else in connection with your business. Fifth, your coaching brand ritual should be performed regularly. It won't feel like a ritual if you don't. You need to be content marketing on the regular, persistently and consistently, or you won't get found in search. You won't be suggested out by algorithms on social media. You won't fare well on a SERP or search engine results page on Google. And for sure, you and your brand won't stay top of mind with anyone who does follow you, subscribe to your email list, etc. Sixth, I can't say this enough, your brand ritual should be easy and fun or people won't do it and they won't engage in it. Look at PewDiePie, for God's sakes. Nothing's as easy as a bro fist. Nothing. The man is now a huge multi-millionaire. Why can't that be you too? Trust me, it can be. Just look at him. Finally, your coaching brand ritual should be something that's easy to share whenever possible. People do fist bumps all the time, so PewDiePie, no matter how you feel about him, he's a marketing genius here. So you've got this. You can come up with something like that that'll resonate with your audience. Just spend some time brainstorming and work a ritual or two in there with your community and stick with it so that it's got stick factor, if you will. It'll take in your community if you understand your ideal customer enough. It should. What I want you to come away with in this video is that your coaching-based brand ritual should always have the accent mark on your ideal customer, and it should have a community-building aspect so that it's not just all about getting people to know, like, and trust your brand enough to buy your offerings and or otherwise support you and your brand, but that it's also a way for your ideal customer to get to know, like, and trust the community that you're building enough to become an active part of it. Because in a sneaky ninja way, this is how you build repeat customers and zealous brand advocates who will get more people to enter into your brand experience and join your tribe, and then the cycle starts all over again with a new wave of ideal customers. But this is why you really need to engage in thorough market research, because your brand experience should be reflective of your niche's wants and needs. When you conduct the proper research, you will then know what they want, what they need, and why, and the exact way in which they are looking to have those wants and needs fulfilled. That will help you reverse engineer your way into crafting the perfect coaching brand ritual and community. In the meantime, if you want more help in terms of distinguishing yourself from the crowd and increasing your trustworthiness in the eyes of your niche, I actually have a freebie for you to pick up called 10 Reasons Why You're Viewed as a Fake Guru and How to Gain Credibility and Customers Instead. And you can pick it up at don'tbeafakeguru.com. The link for you to score that freebie guide is in the show notes or the description down below. There you have it. This is my answer when it comes to the subject of how to upgrade your professional coaching brand. Need more help? Be sure to check out these two awesome videos too, because they'll teach you great content marketing strategies that can also help to blow up your business. Enjoy.